Being in nature, being with nature, followed by the cliche of old Jackson Pollock's "I am nature" when he was asked if he ever painted from nature. But nature really is out there, and it really is in here. It is in my body, made of nature, processes invisible and theorized and absolutely actual in our churning minds and our churning guts. Thought and meat, thought made from meat, and art is made from our meat, the molecules of our meat. I'm trying to tell you, your meat is thought. Your meat is philosophy. Your meat is social studies. Your meat is on the Chicago Board of Trade. To say that has been my life's ambition, to say that in the voice of the me, the one connected to the history of art and science, the history of art as if art were a part of our very genome, which it definitely is. This has been my life's ambition, to share this idea, since the thought came to me on a visit to Tule Lake in the fall of 1979. These thoughts erupted in my chest like the explosion of 10,000 snow geese erupting all at once, bursting aloft in a primordial volcanic landscape at the Tule Lake Wildlife Refuge, witnessed that November of '79. A fairy tale feels different when you are present in the landscape where the story originates. The volcanic area around Mount Shasta is full to the brim with stories of alien saucer sightings, people visiting from the fourth dimension, a whole civilization of refugees from the Atlantean deluge living inside the mountain. Fairy tales. But all these stories seem credible, not via their veracity, but that the stories are placed in a landscape like the Shasta watershed and the surrounding Cascade Mountains, where the vista themselves are mythic, capable of holding fantastical tales made true and believable in a landscape generated by eons of eruptions. Just up the road is clear evidence of the Mount St. Helens kablooey that blew 1,370 feet off the top of the mountain. On our way up to Tule Lake, we stopped off at Lava Beds National Monument, where you can explore miles of lava tube caves formed where the molten lava flows under a hardened crust, leaving behind a hollow of dendritic webwork like circulatory system. The tubes are around 10 feet high or so, and pitch-black trails of a maze crisscrossing in a homogeneous disorientation. They give you a good flashlight at the park entrance that doesn't do much to dispel the vertiginous panic that can set in. Didn't we just pass that big rock 10 minutes ago? This mythic landscape brings to the front of the mind Theseus's journey to fight the Minotaur. A person steps into a life's work, leaving behind a rubble of false starts, and then it arrives. Before that, the disappointment festered, trying to elbow your way into a position as a player. Well, it seemed the sometimes snarky, sometimes smart world of conceptual art was the only game in town, and it was a fun game. The version I played was mostly mental. To actually play at being a phony, like pretending to be a phony, was a move on the chessboard of art. Learning to live on very little was another move, a lifelong pursuit. Afraid of being discovered a phony, you became a phony. How meta. Art could be played as a game, a complicated game, a fun game to watch, to follow the stats, to know all about the players and keep the box score cards as you watched, but you really wanted to be a player on the field, to feel you've been dealt in. That fall, it felt like being on the inside of something special. To be an artist working away in the studio, I had developed a routine of working most days at it, snatching time away from householding for my work as a teacher and a routine practicer in the studio. And as a student, I wanted to play the game as it was laid out. A lot of indirection was coming from the glossy art mags, playing in-game moves now that we were at art degree 0. All the pruning of modernism was finished, shaving the log of meaning down to a toothpick. Old Duchamp and Picasso duking it out in my mind, Giacometti playing off by himself in a corner, but there was something sub rosa, some hidden call to talk about spirit and soul, the filament inside the bulb. To bring all of your on-the-job training to shoulder the wheel of art along, well, it felt like being in a WPA mural of heroic workers, working your way out of some cul-de-sac caves, hunting for the big truth of art. And in real life, we had felt the panic set in while exploring that pitch-black cave of lava tubes crisscrossing the underground maze of Shasta Mountain. So easy to lose your way. Where was Ariadne's thread? On that trip, I became a living person. Yes, I'm sure I'm alive because I feel some strange attraction to this landscape, like I've seen it before, maybe in a book, maybe in a dream, maybe on TV, for pity's sake. But that feeling of alive seemed essential, sitting out in a career in the arts, feeling alive and connected to love. Love means embrace, and you never get enough of that as long as you live. You like to eat, don't you? Well, your soul needs to eat as well. Let's show 'em some pictures of love. If you're an artist, you are preparing yourself to head into some unknown glen. Being an artist made you feel as if you lived in a rarefied land separate from the world. My connection to the living world had always been that thread, a source for following that thread to inner connections. Growing up in a small town with a slow river and a wildish woods nearby, the fungus smell underneath with every step, I was ready to rekindle my lamp, kindled way back when. Let's head out, I said, ready for a change of scenery. I've heard Tule Lake on the Oregon-California border is full of birds, especially in the fall. I like looking at birds, and I had already embarked on painting ducks at the local pond. The Shasta watershed is centered on the mountain, of course, but surrounding the mountain is a low-lying sedge land, gently sloping up, perfect for rice farming, with ample water and also perfect for ducks, geese, and swans. It's as though Darwin were at work creating a proof of landscape giving rise to speciation. This landscape, with the tall peak flowing away on all sides, is dominated by the two-peak volcano, Shasta and Shastina, which rise purpley blue to 9,600 feet above the valley floor, a mountain's mountain. An unusual, stark vertical rise of 9,600 feet, but typical of the Cascade Range, Mount Hood, Mount Rainier, all with distinct shapes, easy to lock into the mind as a picture. At Tule Lake, the view of the mountain is to the south, and looking into a late-day sky starting in early November, you can watch skeins of ducks weave back and forth across the sheer of light, the dimming sky dipping into a rosy sunset. The purple mountain, a woodblock. Then, standing braced against the wind at the edge of the water, 10,000 birds burst up all at once, filling your chest with a thrum. Rising up in front of your neck comes a sob, a chortle, some sound you've never heard yourself make. And then, this is it. The only thing to talk about is this. And it's been so all of my life since, striding to meet that leafy green heart of beauty, the sunlight going to white on a damp leaf. The laws of nature are compatible with the laws of love. The laws of nature are compatible with the laws of love.